What is up, guys? Just about 619 HD here, bringing you guys a new video on Roman Reigns. We're going to be talking about him just today, and we're going to break it down since he's been flying around the web lately on becoming possibly the next mega star in the WWE. So I got some comparisons here that I'm going to read off of my list here that I got in front of me. So basically, I went through, thought of things that I thought would basically stick out on him and with the pros and cons for me. So all this information is strictly for me on what I have seen in the past couple of weeks, months, years since he's been in the WWE. But we're going to basically start off with the 3 things that stick out the fastest right now with him that everybody probably should know. Is that 1, he's the cousin of The Rock. 2, his character is very powerful. And 3, of course, he's the Shield member. He's always been a Shield member, and it's kind of getting to the point where I think this year he's going to break up with the Shield and they're going to basically go separate ways, and Roman Reigns is going to be the only one that is probably going to make it to the main card on that. But a few pros on his type of push that he will be basically getting on what would make him kind of good for the point of making him a main card or the next mega star. So some pros that I got are he holds the new record for the Royal Rumble's most toss-outs. That is a #1 thing that is probably going to up his chance of becoming a main card star. So that is a good thing for him. And another thing, he is very dominant in the ring every single time. Like, if you see him, he has like a Superman punch and stuff, which is awesome. I love that. I have to say, I love that. But that's probably another thing that fans are looking for, since it's mainly a PG era and kids watch that stuff, and I think kids are going to like that. So let's move on to number 3. Basically, this is what I'm talking about, superhero stuff. So his character is basically kind of like a Superman, or kind of like a superhero kind of character. So this kind of stirs things up and makes him look more dominant on the TV. So if you guys have seen that, like how he's been dominant lately and stuff, that is a good thing for business, and that is what kids want to see, kind of. I would say they want to see more action and more superheroes and stuff that they basically read or look in their cartoon sections and stuff on TV or Netflix or anything. But let's get into the 3 cons on him that I think personally he could still improve on, or has not done that great in. But basically, one of my cons here is he hasn't faced all the wrestlers, so you can't really call him a great wrestler or a good wrestler. Like, he's only faced like John Cena, Daniel Bryan, basically like some of the high up guys right now that are not the best. Like, John Cena's up there in the best, but Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan's starting to get up on the top of the best, like the top 10 at least, for the best performers and stuff. And right now I would say John Cena and Daniel Bryan are the top 2 best that we have. And with the outcome of CM Punk leaving, there goes number 3 right there, and that is not that great. But that being said, is he still has a lot to prove to become a main card and become the next mega star basically in the WWE. But with that being said, let's move on to number 2. And we basically have here is that his wrestling skills are kind of like John Cena's back when he became the next face of the WWE. He's not that great yet, but he's going to get better in the future. He'll learn more over time, but I think right now it's just good enough to actually get that push. So let's move on to number 3. He can improve his mic skills just a little bit more, and that being said, that's not that big of an issue because he's perfect right now. And with that all out of the way with cons and pros and stuff, let's move on to what can push him to the megastar pictures ASAP. And these matches, I would have to say, would have to be at WrestleMania, and also when I get into the feuds, those have to be WrestleMania feud moments too. But the #1 feud that I would like to see with Roman Reigns would have to be Roman Reigns versus Undertaker for the streak. This is going to be a pretty good, intense match because, you know, like, Roman Reigns has never faced The Undertaker at all. and this could be the moment that pushes him to the top of, if he beats The Undertaker, who basically is going to look at him and say like, wow, he did not do that great. They're going to be looking at him like, wow, he beat The Undertaker's streak and became the very first guy in over 21 years to actually beat his streak. It'd be 22 if it happened this year, but I hardly doubt Roman Reigns is going to break up against the Shield and go against The Undertaker again like they did way back last year. But that being said, let's move on. Pick number 2 is going to be Brock Lesnar. Like, hello, Brock Lesnar's still around right now. He's the most feared person on the planet for wrestling and fighting style. And why not have him face that guy, since Roman Reigns is supposed to be kind of like a superhero, kind of powerful kind of character. And then you got Brock Lesnar, who is supposed to be like the most badass guy down to earth and basically can beat up anybody and take on anybody. Like, he's destroyed the Big Show and Mark Henry. So that would be another good match that would push him to the top if he beat Brock Lesnar. And then also his cousin, The Rock. This would be another moment in history that would totally be the must-see. I wouldn't put this as number 3. I would probably have to put that as number 2. But The Rock match, that would push him way up if he beat his cousin. Like, come on, The Rock has been, the number 1 grossing actor of 2013. That would push him high up on the list if he beat his cousin. But with that being said about the dream matches that could get him there in a snap of a finger, let's move on to the feuds that could possibly carry him into the Mega Star picture in kind of like a different way. But these are all 3 WrestleMania 30s or either 31 moments that could carry him to that type of picture. But the number 1 that I would have to say that is still around today and still doing very good is John Cena. So I would like to see a John Cena feud with him, because I have a feeling if he shows that he's just as good as John Cena and can actually take him on one-on-one at basically a main card event and also a very big main card event like WrestleMania, I would have to say that would show that he is totally up to the task of being the next mega star like John Cena. And also, that being said, he could actually maybe sell a lot more t-shirts than John Cena, but that is if they decide to push him into the megastar role and into the kid zones, basically, of meeting and greeting people, which I hardly doubt he'll be just like John Cena. But with that being said, let's move on to Triple H. A Triple H feud would be awesome because basically right now he's working with Authority, and he'd be going against Triple H's back and kind of splitting up with his team members at the same time if they do not want to go the same way. I have a feeling that would be a good match to have at WrestleMania 30 if it happened, since Triple H is kind of tossed up in the air now, and it sounds like Daniel Bryan might be facing Triple H if CM Punk doesn't come back or if they don't find anybody else to take on Triple H. I would have to say Roman Reigns would have to be the next guy in line to take on Triple H. But let's move on. This one has kind of happened already, but Daniel Bryan feud at WrestleMania would be a very good moment, but I think the only way that could be kind of like to happen and to push him up there is if Daniel Bryan was the champion. That's the only way I could see Roman Reigns getting something good out of that match, is if Daniel Bryan's the champion and if he faces him, or either if Daniel Bryan has the hype like he does right now and he faces him there, that would be a good match for him. But let's move on to I have about 6 things jotted down right here that basically pick out the pieces basically on him, on what makes him look like a main card right now and why he should be in the main card. So a few things that I've noticed in the past 2 months of getting a very good push, I would say, is that he's been really successful at winning. Like, he's probably hasn't lost that much when he's been with the Shield. And then also his power, he shows dominant power, of course. And also, this just kind of goes into number 3, but he is dominant. Yep, totally dominant. Like, he doesn't show any fear at all. He goes head on. And then I would have to say number 4 would have to be his Royal Rumble record, like I was talking about earlier. I think his record's like 13 or 14 toss-outs, which is incredible. and I have to say that's gonna get him up there in the main card for sure. And then let's see, his ring work is good enough to sell against other main cards. I would have to say, like, come on, John Cena was not that great of a wrestler, and still kind of is not that great, but is good enough to actually sell. Let's see. Then the sixth one is, of course, his connection with the Authority, so that could get him a push for maybe a match or two in the main card slot. So that could just be like a test. But that's basically all I have in this long video of breaking down Roman Reigns basically becoming the next Mega Star. So like some of my key points and stuff on him, on if he should become the Mega Star that they want him to be, or if he should not be basically the next Mega Star in the WWE. But if you guys think elsewhere on my comments and picks and stuff on this, you guys should totally leave comments down below, and also hit that like button if you guys want to see more breakdowns of future stars. Maybe we could do Dolph Ziggler, since he's kind of gone a little bit up, and also same with the Miz. That would be another one to do. Maybe we could do Biggie Langston on what's going to happen with him next, or maybe the other guys that are getting bigger pushes right now. But that's all I have for today, guys. So I hope you guys liked the video, and I hope it wasn't too long for you, because I got into very good detail, I'd have to say, on all this stuff about Roman Reigns. But remember, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and see you guys later.